Want to get to politics now here at home, and certainly as there are updates from overseas, we'll take you back to Spain and bring those to you. However, we are getting new insight into President Trump's chief strategist. Steve Bannon has apparently a lot to say about a lot of things, his critics and his colleagues and his commander-in-chief. Correspondent Kevin Corke tonight with how the Bannon saga is playing out. Kevin, good evening.
Hey, good evening, Bill, and quite a saga it is. Now, he thought the conversation was off the record. But even if it was off the record, what White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon told the American prospect not only put him at odds with many inside the Trump administration, it put him at odds with the president himself. The interview comes as Mr. Bannon, for the second time in 4 months, finds himself fending off rumors of his pending ouster from the Trump team. Bannon said of his rivals, they're wetting themselves because he has the leverage to force them out. On China, he said the U.S. was at economic war with Beijing. He described adherents to ethno-nationalism as losers, a fringe element, a collection of clowns, adding, we gotta help crush it more. But perhaps most surprising was Bannon's assessment of the situation in North Korea, about which he said there's no military solution here. They got us. That's in stark contrast to the president's own fire and fury comments. Analysts say Bannon's willingness to publicly air his differences with the president says a great deal about what's really happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
This White House mystifies me in so many levels, but now I understand better why everybody in the White House leaks against each other, because apparently the president is willing to tolerate it.
But the president remains unwilling to back down from his belief that removing Confederate war statues and memorials is wrong. Sad to see the history and culture of our great country being ripped apart, he tweeted. A history that includes over 1,000 Confederate statues and monuments across the country, from Arlington National Cemetery to the Capitol's National Statuary Hall collection, commissioned more than 150 years ago, with statues representing 2 citizens of each state. 10 states still have statutes honoring Confederate-era figures. States could select replacements for those statues, or Congress could order their removal by legislation. In a statement, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi called the statues reprehensible, saying the GOP should work to remove them immediately. New Jersey Senator Democrat Cory Booker called his bill to do just that, quote, just one step. At Gettysburg, the National Park Service said it was committed to safeguarding these unique and site-specific memorials in perpetuity. While the battle over what to do about such monuments hit a flashpoint in Charlottesville over the weekend, the debate continues to play out across the country as vandals desecrate monuments to men and cities remove the last vestiges of a complicated and, for some, proud past. On the sidelines of this debate, the return of an old feud as battle lines were drawn over Twitter between President Trump and South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who said the president was dividing Americans. President Trump, in a tweet, accused Senator Graham of telling a disgusting lie about his comments in the aftermath of the violence in Virginia. Graham responded, urging the president to move the nation toward the light, not back to the darkness. Senator Graham, not the only GOP leader criticizing the president tonight. Tennessee Senator Bob Corker, a fellow Republican, told a group in Chattanooga today that the president hadn't demonstrated the stability nor the competence to be successful. This as the economic fallout now begins to hit the president, as the Cleveland Clinic, which had a fundraiser scheduled for Mar-a-Lago, has now decided to pull that event from the president's resort. Bill?
Kevin, a lot to cover again today. Kevin Corke, thanks, here in Washington.